He wants to have the Rays play in 2 different cities. He wants 81 games here and 81 games in Montreal. The reason being is the Rays have had attendance issues. Still to this day, they have attendance issues. They did recently have a $2 ticket success. I'm going to get into that as well. But they have attendance issues at Tropicana Field. They need a new stadium, guys, and that's just the way it comes down to it. The Rays need a new stadium. The Rays. They have the second lowest attendance in all baseball, and the only team that has a lower attendance than them is the Florida Marlins. And it's funny how both teams in the state of Florida are on the list when it comes down to attendance issues. But Miami just got a new stadium, so I highly doubt, even though I wrote an article personally thinking that Miami would be on the chopping block, but they had got a new stadium recently. There's no way they are going to move that team. So the idea is, yes, Serena getting back to the finals. That's outstanding, by the way. She's back in the finals, and she's going to win on Saturday, by the way, too. They get in. He wants to, basically what he wants to do, guys, is I think he wants to move the team to Montreal, and the way he wants to do this is he wants to move them there because he thinks that the attendance in Montreal, which was very poor when the Expos were there, that's why they're the Nationals now, by the way. In case a lot of people don't know, the Washington Nationals used to be in Montreal, so now they moved them down here. But I don't see that. There's no way that the Players Association – correct. There's no way the Players Association is going to approve that. And if you're a local guy like I am and you read Tampa Bay Times, one of the great Times writers, Mark Topkin, wrote an article today about how he went around and got everyone's opinion on how the move was going to be, and a majority of them said it was absolutely crazy. And that's exactly how I feel. There's no way this is going to work. No way it's going to work. It's not going to work. And there's no way that's going to happen. But how it's going to all boil down is it's going to come down to this. It's going to come down to who pulls the trigger first, guys. And what I mean by that is if Sternberg can get a stadium here in St. Pete or in Tampa, he'll leave the team here. If he gets a stadium in Montreal, he moves the team there. Here's the down spiral of that. He mentioned in a press conference a few weeks ago that it was going to be opening day 2024. So as we sit right now, guys, we roughly have 4 years, if you're a Rays fan, to get a new owner. That's basically the deadline. You got 4 years for somebody to step up. And, guys, the answer is not Jeff Finnick. I know all you Rays fans out there think, oh, my God, he's doing – and I'll get into the Lightning later on, too, in my show. But he's not the answer, guys. You need to get someone in here who cares about this team. Someone said today on the radio that he plans on selling the team and buying the New York Mets. So if that's what he wants to do, then let him sell the team to somebody that can keep them here in Tampa, because that would be pretty crappy if they move. And I'm not – guys, I'll be honest with you right now. You guys are watching on Facebook Live. You're watching on here. I'm not a Rays fan, guys. I'm a Red Sox fan. As you heard in my conversation with Lewis, I don't want to see the Rays move out of Tampa. I don't. I was here. I've been here all my life. I was here the day that they came into the league. I was here. I sat in that stadium to watch Wade Boggs hit his 3,000 hit out of the stadium and hit a home run. Honestly, I've been here. I don't want to see that team leave the state of Florida at all. But let me give you a kind of a pointer on Sternberg. Obviously, this guy does not care. He's not a fan. He doesn't he doesn't care about the fans that show up. Yes, I know the Rays fan base is very, very young. They're a very young franchise. Or very young fans, excuse me, because they have not been around they're a young franchise. They have not been around for a long time. It's not like they've been around for the Yankees and the Red Sox who've been around since the turn of the century. and the Dodgers and the Giants and all those teams. So they're a new team. So they have a very, very young fan base. So they're just going to have to be given, again, time is running out, unfortunately. The time is running out, and they don't have enough people coming to their ballpark. It's hurting their season ticket holders a lot. Bottom line is their season ticket holders are the ones that are being punished, okay? It's one of those things where, you as a fan, you're not, and it's not like you guys get the best treatment either. I mean, I was a season ticket holder myself, guys, for 9 years with the Lightning, and it was great to go to Amway Arena, and the fact that you bring in, correct, even when they bring, yeah, that's correct, even when they are a good team, because the guys, they won 90 games last year. They won 90 games last year. I wrote an article saying that they were imploding, and they won 90 games last year, and they're right behind the Yankees right now as we speak, for second place in the AL East, and they still can't draw people. They did do very well, guys, though, with their $2 tickets. I don't know if you guys, I was supposed to go on Tuesday, didn't get a chance to, but they themselves did very well. They drew 20,000 people all 3 games. And, I mean, if that's kind of what they need, they only need 15,000 people in that stadium. That's it. They're not, ownership knows they're not going to sell that stadium out. Okay, it's just not going to work. But if they can get, 12, 15,000 people in that stadium every night, the attendance issues would not be a problem anymore. It would not be an issue anymore for the Rays moving forward. But my grade on Stu Sternberg is a big fat F. I mean, he is one of the worst owners in Tampa Bay, in my opinion. And he obviously, here recently he just moved to St. Pete. But for the most part, he lived in New York. I think he wants to own the Mets. I think he's trying to get himself in place to do that. And that's great and fantastic, but don't end up, if I was in his shoes, there's no way I'm moving that team to Montreal, okay? If I'm going to move that team, I have 2 destinations for you, and I have one that my boss mentioned to me at work today, Charlotte, North Carolina. That would be a good destination. Why? Because Durham is not that far away. Their AAA team is not that far away, so if they call someone up, they wouldn't have that far to go. The other one, guys, as mentioned on Facebook earlier, Las Vegas. Vegas has a football team. The Raiders are going there next year, guys. They already have the Knights in hockey. And if you guys have never seen a Golden Knights hockey game, their show, I guess what they call their pregame show or whatever, I'll tell you what, man, they make it good. And that team is very, very good. Very, very good. So if the Raiders can move out there and do very well, now I don't know how that's going to work, guys, because the Raiders haven't been good for a while. I don't know how that's going to work. We'll have to wait and see. You got one of the biggest egomaniac coaches in all of the NFL in John Gruden. But again, that's just my opinion on that. Raider fans can, jump on me about that. That's fine, but that's my opinion on that. Well, let me go ahead, guys, now. I don't keep to mean to jump in anything, but I'm going to go ahead. Like I said, I graded the Rays Rays ownership. So I'm going to move on to my favorite sport, London. My favorite sport, the NFL. Guys, I'm a huge NFL fan. And the Buccaneers have had 2 losing seasons, 5-11 the last 2 years. Ownership also owns Manchester United. I don't know if you guys got a chance to read anything about them, but today it was announced that they might move to London. They're on the block to move to London because of their ties to Manchester United. Also, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who owner now, I think once a year now, they lose a home game to London. The Jaguars play one of their home games in London every year. So I'm sure the Jaguar fans who, again, have issues with showing up as much as anyone else does, they, I'm sure, are very happy they only get 7 games as a season to go. Or I wouldn't even be one if I knew that I was only going to get 7 home games. But anyway, the Bucs, my opinion with them is I don't know if you guys know that Manchester United is also in, Bruce has got one good year, 500 every. Rick, I don't know. This team, though, I don't know. They lost Ryan Smith. I don't know. This defense is a mess, and that's been the issue the last 2 seasons. Is they can play offense, and guys, this year is the year for Jameis Winston. I mean, no Buccaneer quarterback has ever received a second contract. Nobody. And the funny thing is, will he have a decent enough season to do that? I don't know. I just don't know. The defense, if the defense can't stop anybody, it's going to be an uphill battle again. It really honestly is going to be an uphill battle. And, I don't know what else to say. I wish them luck. But a lot of the experts have them winning no more than 5-6 games this season. And I hope Bruce, can turn that around. Yes, Adam, I agree. I think it is a make or break year for Jameis Winston. I think this is a make or break year for him. But, their ownership brought back Jason Light. You brought back a GM who's had a pretty bad track with drafting people outside of Mike Evans. Other than that, his draft picks have not done very well. Ronald Jones is a loss. Hopefully, maybe he can bounce back this year. They need some help in the backfield. That would definitely take a lot of pressure off of Winston. But, guys, I mean, the defense is going to be the issue. I know they brought in Todd Bowles. He's supposed to be but he's going to have to scheme everything. And, they wanted to get help with Gerald McCoy, right? Now they got rid of McCoy and they brought in Dominic Sue. Okay. Is that the answer? I don't think so. JPP, I don't think is ever going to – he might not play this year, guys. He got hurt. He might not even play. That defense is in dire straits. I just – to me, I don't understand. If they win 6 games this year, I'll be shocked. I'm going to just say that right now. Either the owners, the Bucs are the same way. They either need to go all in and be an all-in owner, or sell the team to somebody that's going to care and keep the Bucs, make them relevant again. I know, guys, they had their first years of existence, they were horrible. It took many games for them to get their first win. They were they had the bagel in the win column for many, many, many years. And, I grew up here. I know who they are. I know they wore creamsicle orange and had Buccaneer Bruce on their helmets. And those were the bad years. And then they changed to the pewter and red. And when they made that change, they had Tony Dungy, and they had a great defense and a decent offense. And they won a Super Bowl against the Raiders. And, since then, it's been downhill for them. And they haven't been able to get back to that success. They're one of those teams that's in a playoff drought, in the NFL. So, I don't know what else to tell you. I really honestly don't think this team is going to win more than 6 games this year. Does that give Jameis a second contract? I don't know. Again, Jason Light keeps his job. I don't see if they go down, they have a losing season again this year, there's no way Jason Light keeps his job, in my opinion. So there'll be a new GM next year, and I don't know if that new GM is going to keep Jameis or they won't. It just will have to come down to, it will have to come down to that. I really honestly don't know. I don't know if he will get to a second contract. Again, he's been decent. He's a good quarterback when he is, but the one thing with him, guys, that I will have to say he'll have to correct is he doesn't have to make every play. Taking a sack or throwing the ball away will work. Someone needs, and maybe Byron Leftwich is that guy, to get into his head and tell him, hey, you need to do that. You need to be that guy and not have to make every play every time. Throw the ball away, let us, Don't make too many mistakes. Don't throw interceptions. Don't fumble the ball. Keep the drives going. That's what you have to